tribal peoples, and for many, many years that remained just a dream. However, in 2014, she decided to leave behind a career as an executive at a care provider in Sydney and step towards a completely unknown world, a journey of self-discovery through photography. She describes it as entering into a kaleidoscopic world of cultural diversities. Since then, Biljana has been traveling to the remote areas of Ethiopia, Angola, and Mongolia to photograph different tribes. Her portraits are a culmination of her passion, love, and respect for people. They depict a graceful world where strength and pride are engraved on the faces of the people she photographs. Please welcome Biljana.
Good afternoon. My name is Biljana Jurukovski, and first of all, I would like to say that I'm honored and I'm really privileged to be part of the Exposure Festival here today. I would like to also say my deepest gratitude to His Royal Highness and the organizers of Exposure Festival for giving me this privilege to be here today in beautiful Sharjah. And thank you. Thank you. In the next 25 minutes, I would like to take you on a journey, and it is a journey of my self-discovery. Journey where the fear has been defeated by the curiosity. Journey where, I found what the passion it is, and journey where I understood the importance of keeping up with the traditions and with the cultures. You will be able to see some of my work going in the background, and I think, sorry, the mic is, just a second, take it away. Okay, I'm sorry. I think we are having a bit of issues. Is it better? Yes, okay, thank you, I'm so sorry for that. So, who am I? Very often, people ask me, well, who you are? Okay, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife. I work in the aged care industry. I'm also as an executive manager, that's my professional job. Also, I'm a painter, photographer, but most importantly, I'm a person, individual, like each of you, that has a great passion, for and love for photography, and passion for something that I will want to leave some sort of a legacy, about leaving a legacy for at least at the smallest case, at least for my family and for the generations that are yet to come, So I was always a dreamer. From a very young age, I was dreaming about the faraway places, and I was always amazed by the different cultures, by the different traditions, people actually from different countries, their traditional clothes, and I just loved their colors and the folklore. So that has been there with me from a very young age. On some of my trips, that were outside of the normal, tourist destinations, for example, in Punjab, in India, in Vietnam, I was blown away by the colors, I was blown away by their cultures and, again, as I said, by their clothes, And I started thinking at that time, it's so beautiful, and I really want to be able, to share these experiences and to be able to show some of these people, like photos of these people to some of my friends or people that, they don't even dare to go to places like this. But loving to do something it's, one thing, but then again, to be able to do it, the reality is completely different. As I did say, I'm a mother, I have a professional job, and of course, there is always a lot of responsibilities, which of course I love them, come with those things. So you're not always able to focus on yourself and to do what you love. So at times you're putting yourself, I guess, last. So many times I have been asked about where is this love for culture, and for photography, culture in the context of photography, it's coming from. I guess it's very important to understand, especially for me as humans, we are a little bit like the trees, everything starts with the roots, and and then, for me, the roots and where I'm coming from had, huge impact on actually who I have become. I was born and raised in Macedonia, okay, and very traditional, with a very traditional upbringing. And Macedonia, it's a country with a very strong culture. And I guess that was deeply embedded deep down in my mind. When I was 21, we moved together with my husband to Australia, a country that it's very multicultural, and it's a very modern, and where there are a lot of different cultures. And I guess over there it started, that love for, and even getting to more different cultures, it started sort of branching out. I must admit, leaving one country and also going to completely different country with a very different lifestyles, it can be very, very challenging, And I found it myself, that move from Macedonia to Australia, very challenging because, you have the place where you're coming, that it's very traditional, then sort of you're going to a very modern place, and you start to think, sort of, okay, what do I accept, what do I keep from my culture, from my traditions, how I will be able to fit, sort of in this new environment. So it has not been easy, right? However, through the photography did help me, especially photographing the tribal people, the people from different cultures. It did help me sort of to extend, to find out the answers, in some of the things, that I have been asking myself. 2014, for me, it was a very crucial year. It was a year when I took the leap, into the unknown. I was doing some research on different cultures, of course, and I came across in my searches of a book. The book was called, obviously on the internet, and it was called Before They Passed Away from Jimmy Nelson. And I did order the book, and I think that book actually changed my life. In a way, sort of how I started, looking, into the work that he presented. When I opened the book, the first photo actually, when I opened the book, the first photo that I saw, it was a photo of a tribal man from the Mursi tribe that they live in Ethiopia. And his face was painted, he had the horns of a wild animal horns, and there were two children sitting behind him, and they were holding Kalashnikov. And at that time, I started, sort of asking myself, questioning, there were 10,000 questions going through my mind. Well, who are these people? Where do they live? How I will be able to get to them? How I can learn more about these people? And I really want to photograph these people. I was studying his book, going through, the photos. I was completely amazed. For hours and hours, I will sit and look at his work. And I was, completely fascinated, I must admit. And the love and the passion, sort of how he was describing in the book, it was just so contagious, I think. So, at that time, I decided that I want actually to, to start going, by myself to be able to find sort of some of those remote tribes and to be able to go and photograph them. So I started with my search, and it took me a few months to get myself organized. And the first trip, it was where I joined expedition by other photographers. At the very beginning, I did say, this is a journey where the fear has been defeated by the curiosity. Well, at that very first trip, that fear was defeated because I was so curious. We didn't know actually what it will happen. Unfortunately, it was very bad timing. 2014, there was the Ebola outbreak in Africa. It was in West Africa. However, you never know how fast it will spread. So we didn't know until actually the last day if we're going to go or not on that expedition. And then, these type of trips, they do require a lot of preparations. It is the physical preparations, but then again, it's also the mental preparations. When I told, sort of to some of my friends, that this is what I want to do, when I obviously told them at work that I need to take some time off from work to be able to go and photograph the tribal people, there was a lot of questioning. Well, why are you going? Aren't you scared? So obviously there is Ebola, going through Africa. What about all these other diseases? But these people are armed, And the fear slowly started, I guess, creeping inside me, I must admit the biggest support at that time it was given by my husband. Okay, he said, Bibi, no, this is what you love to do. Okay, you just go and do it. You have too much sort of passion, you have love for those things, just go and do it. So I went. Okay, so it was very interesting experience, challenging. Very unusual, and that was the first time actually that I traveled without my husband and my two sons. Of course, my father was so angry with me that he didn't want to talk with me. So this is actually where our, cultural upbringing is coming. Oh, you are a woman. How come you will be going by yourself without your husband and with your children? So there was a lot of explanation, but I decided no, I'm going and. This is my life and this is what I love to do. When I came back from the trip, I started looking through the photos, and I realized I was absolutely not happy with any of the photos that I have taken. I think that probably they were just the snaps, I would say, and there was no connection between me and the people. And I started asking myself, well, why sort of I didn't achieve that's what I wanted to achieve. Of course, you can't achieve those things just with a one trip. And what I have realized at that time, it was that it was quite a few of us. I think it was around 5 photographers, and we didn't spend any time with the people, which was very, very wrong. But obviously, when you're going on expeditions like this, you can't dictate what it will be happening. So there was none of that human connection, sort of, they were just posing for us and that was it. But we didn't learn anything about these people. We didn't learn about, the Mursi or the Hamar. We went to the Hamar, the Arbore tribe. We didn't learn anything about them, We didn't sort of tell them how beautiful they are, or why we are here. It was just purely, I guess, photography expedition. So I was not happy with the results, and of course, I was still thinking, no, I will need to go back. My next trip was in Mongolia, where I have spent time with the Kazakh people, the Kazakh eagle hunters. And that was a little bit of a different trip. There I have spent more time with the families. I was living with them, eating with them. I became part of of their establishment. So it was just quite amazing to be able to see, sort of the love that these people, the Kazakh people, the eagle hunters, they have for the eagles, and how they are looking sort of after them from a very sort of from a very young age. The next trip I went to Angola, and I went with anthropologists, to the tribes of Angola with anthropologists. Unfortunately, I don't have any of those photos in here. Having anthropologists actually coming together on the trip, it was even much sort of better, not only for the photography, but also to be able to sort of to give you even more knowledge, a more understanding about the tribes sort of that you are photographing, and to be able to make that connection. When I came back from Angola, but still there was something missing, that's what I was feeling, I was feeling that there is something missing, something, there was like a void inside of me. And I knew it actually what was that. That was, I was like 3 years prior to that, I have seen a photo of some of the photos of a photographer that has photographed the Surma tribe in Ethiopia. And I really sort of, for the last 3 years, I have been thinking about them, about wanting sort of to go over there. However, that was again not easy, and I didn't want to join any photography expeditions, to go sort of with other people. I just this time really wanted to go just by myself and to spend time with them. I must go a little bit back to the Angola trip. One very important thing that I have learned during that trip, it was I took Polaroid camera with me. Okay, and as I was traveling through the tribes, spending time with them, I was just, taking the photos of the mothers with the children, of the children, whoever wanted sort of photo to be taken, and I was giving them back to the people, the photos. It was just such an amazing experience to be able actually to see, sort of the happiness also on their faces. They felt that also they are respected. That. You are giving also something back to them. So after that trip, I started actually taking my Polaroid camera all the time with me. So the last time, the first time then when I went to the Surma people, I went completely by myself, just with a guide and with the driver, and of course we had the armed guard. I think that was one of my best times that I had actually with, sort of spending time with, communities, tribal communities like this. I stayed with them, obviously, was sleeping in tents. I just became one of them, okay? I was eating with them, sort of, when they were dancing with them, spending time with the children. And it was just one of the most amazing experiences. I must admit, the first few days, the first 2 days, I didn't took any photos. I just wanted first to be able to establish that connection with the people, sort of, so they can open up, so they can feel that sort of warmth, the love and the passion that I was feeling for what I am doing, for them to be able to see and sort of to feel that. So I started with photographing later on, after the second day. With the Surma tribe, the type of the photos that I did, it was mostly against the black background. The reason for that was I just wanted the whole focus of the viewer to be completely just on their artistic skills. This is amazing people. They are so connected with the nature, and it's quite interesting, how they have this, their imagination, it's just mind-blowing. Out of absolutely nothing over there, there is nothing, it's just whatever you find in the nature. They are creating this they are creating all these sort of pieces. They are putting them on their head. They are very creative. Just amazing. I went few more times back to the Surma people. Yes, some of the photos that are, on the exhibition, they are from the first trip, but some of them are actually in here from the last trip. The second time when I went back to them, I went back and I did exhibition. Okay, I did exhibition in Kibish, so it was quite interesting. I took obviously a wire, and I make the, like I did print it out the photos back in Sydney in Australia, around A4 format. And I say, I must show them some of the work that I have done with them. So, we just took the wire, we put it from one tree to another. I had pegs with me, sort of we put all of the photos, together. And it was just quite amazing experience to be able to see the people actually coming, looking through the photos, to be able to recognize themselves, showing, and giving them back those photos. It was just a quite amazing experience. There are quite few actually things that I have learned, during some of those trips. And some of the things are, be ready, be prepared, especially when you're going to places like this. Know where you are going, know who are you going with. Also know and who are they, like how they will react, try to learn a little bit about the people, so then you will be able to respect them, to show that respect by understanding, having some sort of understanding of their culture. However, at the same time, regardless how well prepared you will be, you never know, expect the unexpected, okay? So that's just how it is, in some of the areas like this. Acceptance, it's another thing that I have learned. And acceptance, you accept the people, so then they will be able to accept you too. I think very important thing it is that when you go to a places, and when you are visiting, other cultures or or the tribes in particular, you need to completely strip yourself naked from all of your titles. Okay, when I'm talking about titles, you can be whoever you want to be in your own country. You can be a manager, you can be CEO. However, when you go over there, nothing of that matters. The most important thing actually it is for you to be human, okay, and to show them the love and the respect. And again, it is also about sharing, giving back to the communities. Each time, when I go back to Ethiopia, obviously I have been back a few times, we do go actually and we do take a lot of things. I mean, when I say a lot of things, we go very well prepared from Addis, with a, truck. And we are taking actually a quite lot of food and supplies for the tribes over there, water, at least to be able to help them out, just, with the day-to-day living. I do also support, a lot of charities, with some of the work that I have done, with some of the photos. I do donate a lot of them to different charities. So that's also one thing that is quite important for me. In a modern times like this, I think, and the way the world, I guess, is going, it's very, very important these days for us to understand, the importance of keeping up the cultures, the traditions, and to be able also at the same time to share, to share that love and also towards, for the different cultures and for different traditions. The world is one beautiful place, okay, and we need to cherish the beauty of the diversity. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much, and thank you to Jana. Please join us again at 4 o'clock, where we'll see our next presentation by Stephen Brooke. Thank you very much.